In this demo, we'll simulate a hypothetical scenario where we will be sending a very secret message and encrypt it with triple encryption, and then so it won't be able to be deciphered by anyone who listens to that message without the proper uh, security. So let's start. First, we'll grab a start node, and then we're going to use a canned message to contain the input, the secret message. And then we will encrypt that with PKI encryption. So PKI encryption is the process of encrypting a data with the recipient's public key. So if you encrypt a data with the recipient's public key, it can only be decrypted by the recipient's private key. So it is an asymmetric encryption. So to encrypt that with the public key, we will need to upload a document, which will be the public key of the recipient. So to do that, let's go to the documents. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll upload the public key of the recipient. So in this scenario, I will call the recipient flock and then select the public key. Okay, so we'll get the document ID uh, of the public key, and then we'll use that in the orchestration. Next, we will encrypt the data with AES 256 encryption. So this is a symmetric encryption, uh, which is secured by a password. Next, we will compress the data and set the password for the compression. So this is a there are advantages to compression. One is it will reduce the size of the data, and because it's password protected, it will also secure it. That's why I call it triple encryption. And then we'll send it to the flock via satellite. So this satellite here is just an image, and then we'll set the flock will receive it via satellite. And then what they'll do is they'll decrypt it in the opposite manner that it was encrypted. So first, they'll have to do decompression. So the next is to AES 256 decrypted. and then to the last stage is to PKI decrypt it with the private key of the flock of the recipient, and then we'll stop there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll first not set the decompression, or I'll set the wrong password for decompression. Okay, so because we set the wrong password for decompression, uh, we fail to retrieve the message. So this is the case with the listeners to the message who doesn't have the key to decrypting it. So we'll set the correct password for decompression, and we'll also set the correct password for the AS256 decryption. And what we'll do is we'll also upload the private key of the recipient. So if we don't supply this private key, or you supply the wrong private key, they won't be able to decrypt that message. So the only the private key, which corresponds to the public key, which is used for encrypting the message, can be used to decrypt that message. Okay, so let's run this. We don't have the correct private key, so I'll run that. Okay. Next, what we'll do is we will upload the private key. Okay, and the private key is usually secured with a password. So if you don't have a password, if you got the private key but you don't have the password for it, it also won't fail to decrypt the data. Okay, so we'll upload the private key. And then I'll set the password. So if I got the wrong password, it also won't work. It won't be able to use that private key for decrypting the message without the password. So I'll set the correct password so that it can decrypt the message. And then we'll grab the ID of the private key and use that to populate the document ID and then run it. Okay, so it this time it was able to successfully decrypt the message. So let's have a look at the message mutation from one state to the other. So this is the source. This is the secret message, and then when it gets encrypted by the public key, this is the output of that. So this is the message after it has been encrypted, and that's the first stage of encryption. And then it will be encrypted again by AS256. So That's the encrypted message encrypted again, and then it will be compressed, but password protected as well. So that's the third level of encryption. So it will go on the reverse process, being decrypted along the way, and finally the private key will decrypt it and give us the secret message. That's the end of the demo. Thank you.